All right, let's talk about something huge. Maybe the biggest question there is. What makes you? Well, you. Turns out, one psychologist had a really bold and, surprisingly simple answer that pretty much changed everything. So let's really get into this. I mean, think about it for a second. What truly shapes who you become? Is it all in your DNA? The choices you make every day? Maybe the family you grew up with? I mean, this is a massive question, right? People have been arguing about it forever. Well, back in the early 1900s, this one guy came along with a super powerful, really direct answer that just completely shook up the world of psychology. His name? John B. Watson. And he kicked off a whole new way of thinking called behaviorism. Okay, so Watson's starting point was, for its time, pretty out there. You had all these other psychologists trying to figure out the invisible stuff, like thoughts, feelings, the unconscious mind. But Watson, he was like, hold on a second. He basically said, if we're going to make psychology a real science, we've got to focus on what we can actually see, what we can measure. And what's that? Our actions, our behavior. So this whole idea of focusing on what you can see, well, that led him straight to his big core idea. He suggested that, hey, we're not born with all our behaviors already wired in. Nope. Instead, he argued that we are almost completely a product of, well, our environment. And here it is, the big one. Behavior is learned from the environment. It sounds so simple, right? But it's actually incredibly profound. What Watson was saying is that we're all basically born as blank slates, and it's the world around us, our environment, that writes our story. It's what teaches us how to act, how to react to everything. Now, here's the thing. Watson didn't just, throw this idea out there and leave it. He wanted to show how it actually works in our day-to-day lives. He was convinced that our experiences are what literally build our behavior. So let's take a look at what that actually means. This breaks it down perfectly. Just look at these two different worlds. In one, you have an environment full of love and support. What's the effect? The person learns kindness. It becomes their go-to response. But then look at the other side, an environment of fear. The effect? They may become afraid. For Watson, it was a straight line, cause and effect. The environment literally teaches you the behavior. Okay, so what does all this have to do with you? Because this isn't just some old theory about how kids learn. It's a way to understand our own lives, like right here, right now. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that everything around you, the people you hang out with, the stuff you watch and listen to, the places you go, it's all influencing you, all the time. Our experiences, they're not just background noise. No way. They are actively, directly shaping who we are and what we do every single day. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds kind of like we have no control, right? But actually, Watson's idea is super empowering because if our environment shapes us, well, that means we can have a hand in shaping our environment. So here are 3 simple but really powerful things you can do. First, choose good friends. Surround yourself with people who create a positive vibe. Second, use kind words. The way you talk becomes part of the environment, not just for others, but for you too. And third, take positive actions. Every single thing you do helps build the world you're living in. See, it all comes back to this one core idea. Look, of course there are lots of things that make you who you are, but the world you choose to live in, the one you help build, it plays a huge role. In a very real sense, you are a reflection of your environment. And so that leaves us with a final question to chew on. Think of your environment like a garden, and your behaviors are the plants growing in it. The real question isn't just what's going to grow, it's what will you choose to grow? Really makes you think, doesn't it?